Hey guys, what's up and welcome back to the Roomies Digest. In today's video, I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. I actually have a reading journal that I keep up with throughout the year, or try to keep up with, and I thought it would be fun to show you guys my 2021 bullet journal setup. So the first thing that I'm going to be starting out with is my favorite Castell pen. It's just a regular brush pen, obviously B for brush. And I'm going to crudely letter the words reading journal on this front page. You guys are gonna have to forgive this. I'm still learning how to letter, and it's actually really hard if you don't practice every day. So this is my attempt at having a title page. Moving on, I am going to be creating a key page for this journal. My whole entire vibe for this journal is just going to be a bunch of line art and plants. I'm really into line art. It's very easy. It's not very time consuming, so it's kind of perfect for a bullet journal. So I'm going to be starting off with that, and then of course laying out my keys. In the bottom right hand corner here, I thought it would just be fun to do a couple of monstera leaves just to fill up the page and make it a little more interesting. Then filling in the title of the key and also my task spots. The first box here is going to be task, the next box is going to be a completed task, the next box will be a moved task, the triangle will be an event/appointment, stars will be important things or birthdays, things like that. A tiny dot is going to be a note, and then the little circular clock is going to be a due date. So moving on to the next page, I wanted to do an illustration and a quote page. Here, I just wanted to do a girl who's fallen asleep with a book on her face. Yeah, the line art is, like I said, one of my favorite art styles. It's very simple, easy, and it's really nice because you can add in these tiny little leaf details to kind of give it a little more zazz, and it's not too overwhelming. One of my biggest issues with bullet journaling is using too many color variations, so I tried my hardest to stick to a couple of different greens and spread them out throughout the journal. And then on the right hand side, of course, I tried to letter, but I haven't lettered probably in about a month. So a book looks kind of funny, and then I gave up and said it's going to be cursive for the rest of this quote. I finished off the quote with a little leaf wreath, but then half of my footage got deleted, so that is why we skipped the entire creation of the future log page. Moving on to the second part of the future log page, I basically I'm just writing out all of the months, and I'm going to be putting in tiny calendars, which will help me keep up with important dates throughout the year. So for example, if we have a readathon, a book club feature, a books and brunch happening, I can keep up with all of those important dates in these pages. I don't think future logs are incredibly necessary in a reading journal, but I definitely like to have everything categorized and organized, so I of course had to add one into my journal. As you can see here, this is how I will use the future log. I like to color coordinate things. So for example, Monique's birthday is on the 16th of this month. So I just did a tiny little pink circle and then wrote in Monique's birthday. And I'll do the same thing for other important dates throughout the year. So on this page, I wanted to do a book suggestion page. I feel like when I watch YouTube videos, I can get a little overwhelmed with all the books that I want to read and who suggested them for me. And I feel like in every kind of video where we're talking about books, I'm like, I forget who suggested this or who said this or blah, blah, blah. So I wanted to do a page where I could write down the book and then write down who was talking about it and what they said, that kind of thing. So that is going to be the basis for this book suggestions page. I wanted to do a really simple layout where I just had the title of the book and the person from which I got the suggestion. Then on the right-hand side, I wanted to do a 2021 book log. I, in hindsight, think that this may not be enough books, so I'm either going to have to add more books, draw more books in later, or I'll have to do another 2021 book log page. But this is essentially like the page that you guys see where there are a bunch of books on a bookshelf and you can write in the titles and color them in as you read them. So I really like this idea, and I thought that this came out really, really well, but it was incredibly time consuming. So that's probably the only downfall of this page, but I think it paid off because it looks really, really good. And then of course I had to add in my tiny little leaf accent to add some color on this page, but not anything too crazy because by the end of this, I'm hoping the whole entire bookshelf will be covered in colors. So moving on to the left-hand side here, on this page, I really just have a bunch of series that I want to read, and I just put in a couple here to give examples, but most of these are rereads. There are a few new ones that I want to put in there, and I'll fill that in as we go along, but as you can see, I've read the first book in the Grishaverse by Leigh Bardugo, and because of that, I went ahead and colored in that box. Then on the right-hand side here, I have the new releases page, which I actually got both of these spreads from Noelle, from Noelle 7 Pages. She did a similar thing in her bullet journal video, and I will link that below because I definitely got this idea from her. But the new releases page is basically just a small calendar of the new releases per month. So I know for a fact that A Court of Silver Flames and Rule of Wolves will be coming out this year, so I wanted to go ahead and make a calendar so that I can put those in and make sure that I don't miss those releases. Moving on to the next spread, this is also a spread that I got from Noelle. She did such a good job of organizing her bullet journal, and I'm literally just in awe and definitely copying / using this spread. So thank you, Noelle. I love you so much, and I really appreciate that you shared your bullet journal with the rest of us so that I could definitely copy and paste it. But anyway, here I am doing a January kind of calendar for this month. I didn't want to do a January cover page because, I don't know, I just didn't feel like I needed to do that. I'm just going to tab this page with some washi tape. But yeah, the basic point of this page is to have a calendar of dates and kind of my TBR and what I'm going to be doing in January. So for example, on the right hand side, I've got all the books that are on my TBR. Then on the left hand side here, I've got the book clubs that I'm going to be participating in and the readathons that I'm going to be participating in. In the bottom right hand corner, I am going to be listing some extras just in case I do get through my TBR and need more books to read, but I actually have a pretty big list, so I'm not expecting to get down to that bottom right hand corner this month anytime soon. So then here you guys can see all the book clubs and readathons that I'm going to be participating in. As far as the readathons go, this is something that I got from Noelle. She basically highlights when the readathons are happening, so there is a visual of how long I have to read these books. Then the book clubs that I'm participating in, I wanted to go ahead and highlight them in my TBR so I know, okay, I'm reading this book for this book club. And last but not least, I wanted to tab my January page so that I can flip to it easily. On the next page here, I am doing an Instagram / YouTube tracker. I was doing this in my bullet journal last year, just in my personal bullet journal, but I could never find the right amount of space for it or the right kind of layout for it. And again, I saw Noelle's video and she did such a good job of laying out her YouTube tracker that I was like, oh, I am definitely using this in my spread this year. It's kind of self-explanatory, but you basically just have the amount of followers for the beginning of the month and the end of the month, your goal for the month, and then when you reach the goal. Then of course you've got the posting schedule, which is film, edit, thumbnail, and upload. And then for the Instagram posting schedule, it's just going to be picture, edit, upload. So moving on, another spread from Noelle. Like I said, I love you, Noelle. But basically she did a spread in her journal that was favorite lines. And I absolutely love this idea. I'm hoping that I keep up with it as I go along in my reading. But basically it's just your favorite lines that you read throughout the month. Moving on to the last page that I took from Noelle's bullet journal setup, it's the January wrap-up page. I thought this was a brilliant idea, and it literally is Noelle's idea, so I'm gonna once again link her video down below so you guys can check that video out. So to kind of explain the January wrap-up page, basically I'm going to be tracking the title and author of the book, when, where, how, page number, and star count. So the when is going to be the date that the book was read, where is going to be if it's from the library, if I own it, if it's borrowed from a friend, how is going to be audiobook, physical, ebook, page number, self-explanatory, and star count is self-explanatory. I think it'll be great to use this spread at the end of the month when I'm doing wrap-ups with Monique, just because sometimes I really do forget what I give a book as far as star count, page number, that kind of thing. So I think this page will be incredibly useful at the end of the month. Moving on to the last part of my January bullet journal spread, I am doing a page per book. I feel like a lot of people do this in their reading journals where they kind of do like a page per book. I know that Jess from Books Past Bedtime does this, Kirsten from Kirsten's Corner does this, and I kind of wanted to do something similar, but I also wanted to add in some line art to these pages because I am a visual person and I really like seeing what the book looks like per page. So I did add in the covers of the books in sort of a line art style. I think this came out really, really well, and I think it's good for organizing my thoughts as I'm reading the book. I also made a space for if I was reading it for a readathon, book club, buddy read, anything like that. So I will use that as I make different pages for the books that I'm reading. And now for the final flip through. I wanted to say thank you again to Noelle from Noelle 7 Pages for sharing her bullet journal spread, as well as Kirsten from Kirsten's Corner and Jess from Books Past Bedtime. I got major inspo from you guys. You guys are like queens in my book. I love you so much. So thank you for sharing your videos, because I definitely looked at those and got a ton of ideas from you guys before making my own bullet journal spread. So as we get to the end of this here, I just wanted to say thank you guys so much for watching. I know this isn't a typical video from the Roomies Digest, but if you did like it, please give it a like for me, comment, subscribe if you want to support Monique and I, and we will see you guys next time.